Welcome to episode 6 of Cowboy Bebop. Last time was a fantastic episode where we met Vicious, got a lot of info about Spike's past, there was some incredible music, incredible visuals. Music's been stuck in my head this whole time. I've gone back and listened to it, gone back and rewatched the episode, and I talked about it a lot at the time. I don't need to gush about it again, but it was an incredible episode. Absolutely, far and away the best. And I'm sure, I need to lower my expectations that not every episode will be that. We might just go back to some random adventure this time, and that's fine. But yeah, last episode was incredible, so I don't know what'll be this time. Let's just go ahead and get into it. We're going to watch. If you want to see the discussion, the time code is in the description. Also in the description is the Patreon. You can head over there if you want to see the next episode out already, because they come out a week early over there. So, yeah, let's go ahead and watch episode 6. 3, 2, 1, play. It is called Sympathy for the Devil. But we also got some Spike Jet conflict, little tiny hint about something from Jet's past. And now we could go anywhere. We'll see what happens. Somebody also told me in a comment something that I guess I just didn't realize from episode 2 is that none of them were actually looking at the TV when they talked about how much Ein is worth. I didn't realize that at the time, that Spike and Jet don't actually know that. So they don't know that they've got this valuable dog with them. They think he's a pretty smart dog. So yeah, didn't realize at the time. So now I've been told, and now I know. I guess I was just focused on the information being relayed from the TV and not who was or was not watching the TV at the time in the show. Man, it's going to be weird to go back to anything else after the last episode. That felt like it came out of nowhere with how incredible it was, and now we're just going to go back to still good stuff, just, not as serious and intense as that was. Okay. Still get good music, though, but even still, I don't think it's going to top some of that episode 5 music. I'll stop. We're on episode 6 now. Let's talk about that. What the hell? That's terrifying. Bunch of organs, a blue orb, some dude's eye getting fucked with. What are we? This is nightmare fuel. Who is this poor bastard? Look at these visuals. This is creepy. Was that? Did that happen in the past? What exactly was going on with that? This smoky atmosphere. Kid's pretty good on that harmonica. Sympathy for the devil. Okay, let's see what happens. Hello. Goddamn. They do it on purpose. These artists, these animators, they do it on purpose. Oh, so that's where I don't think we've actually heard him called Ein. I think that's the first time we see his name. I think. They named him off screen. And did she eat dog food? Are you okay with the dog food? It doesn't... I'm pretty sure that would taste like absolute garbage. Also, that's bitch move. Wow. Yeah, they're not so good with the earning of the money. But they're seeking out a new bounty. Alright. Giraffe? What's gonna go wrong this time? Some fatty. What's going on? No, he's actually called Fatty? I guess they know him. Fatty River. Is that his legit name? His parents kind of doomed him with that one. He was destined for greatness. Really, overcompensating here. Alright, here's the kid wheeling somebody away that this guy's going after. Talking about drinking your mother's milk, being in your dad's sack. What the hell's going on? See why they get along. So I don't know what the fatty guy's doing. This guy's after them. I don't know who they are. So let's see where this goes. It's like Scar chasing after Salim Bradley. Yeah, I like the music. Just keep this going. It's nice. You can go really long stretches of time in this show without dialogue, because you just like to listen to the music and look at it. Kind of don't want anybody to talk. Damn it, the music stopped. Why'd you have to make action happen, old man? You damn fool. Alright, what is this guy doing? Whoa, give him back. Giraffe, zebra? Well, shit, there's a lot happening here. Is this dude kidnapped the boy? Or maybe the boy kidnapped the man. Maybe that's the twist. Dude got shoved out a goddamn window. I feel like he'd still die from that. I mean, that was a pretty long fall even landing on that, and it's not a soft surface. Like, I don't think landing on that is different than landing on the street. Oh shit, doesn't even matter. Wow. I think it's too late. Yeah, that's how this works generally. So the kid. It's the kid. Right? They want us to think it's the wheelchair guy. That he's kidnapped this kid, and they're saying don't be fooled by his appearance because he seems wheelchair bound. It's the kid, though. He's a goddamn homunculus. I only say this because I recently finished watching Brotherhood, so it's just what's in my mind. So we got a mysterious ring, some kind of stone. The cops! Okay, there's a lot at play here. This is interesting. Going back to, an episodic adventure, at least it's an intriguing one. To investigate what this thing is. But will it be a sum that you guys get? Yeah, it's not the kid who needs help. You guys have no food. If that refrigerator is any indication. What has she been doing? Just from random shit she's bought? Hi, Ein. There he goes. Just kind of hangs out around the ship. So got a fellow bounty hunter. Fatty River was also after the guy. Yeah, he's like, oh, the guy's dead, so I'll just tell you, right? Gotta be a little suspicious, though. I guess it just doesn't interest him. He's like, I'll just go after a bounty that's alive. Mm-hmm. The kid is Wen. And the guy is his father, presumably, Zebra. Okay. Is that why they're both named after animals? Are they code names that they had together? What facility? The hell? There's a lot going on here. Oh, really now? You would like to believe that women betray others? Maybe this kid is a fucking, 40-year-old man who just looks like a kid. I'd buy it. Spike seemed a little suspicious of the kid. Speaking of suspicious. Yeah, look at this kid's face. Did he, though? What is this from? Wasn't there a different guy in the wheelchair? Or did he just get a haircut? Yeah, that's a different guy. Was this from 50 years ago? I was thinking that. Yep. He's like an old fucking man. He just looks like a little boy. Or he's an immortal demon, whichever. But probably more like the first one. Oh, shit. Little twerps. Yeah, this is like an old man. Yeah, that twist was really, really obvious, but it's fun. How old are you? How long ago was that? Maybe it's not. Maybe he's older than. Maybe it's not just some weird disease thing. Maybe it's something more to it. Some crazy drug that's made him stay young. I don't know how old that is exactly. Maybe he's older than humans are supposed to live for. I'm not sure. I would imagine that was a pretty long time ago, just considering the shit we see in this show with space travel and everything. Advanced a pretty long way. What is happening? Teacher? Teacher, I have a question. Pick me. Did that make him immortal or something? It killed his parents. Seemed to have protected him. What the? So part of the moon just exploded into light? The hyperspace gate. So yeah, it made his body immortal. Huh. Can you not die though? Or do you just not age? Like, can you be killed? Have you tested that? So what the hell? I was expecting a more, like, natural thing, like some kind of actual, like the movie Orphan or something. Whether or not that's realistic, something more realistic. But it's just like this thing made him just straight up immortal. That's cool. This is I like the design of this kid with his little suit and everything, and just the look in his eyes. Damn, good shot. Or an asshole. Oh shit. Well, we're about to find out if he can't die. I don't think it would be over just like that. So you're saying he was like experimented on and shit, and we had that opening with Spike on the table. That is a lot of blood. I don't even think there's that much in his tiny little body. Ein will guard you. Don't worry. I still have a lot of questions. I don't know how much time we have left in the episode. I kind of want it to go on for quite a while longer. This is pretty interesting. So we got Giraffe. So he seemed like he was talking to Zebra there, like, give the kid back. Is that a thing that can kill the kid? It will, yeah. Let his age catch up to him. Okay, no, it was just weird wording. He was saying, give him Zebra. Weird wording / weird translation. That's a good looking shot. Okay, sure. That. Of course. As it does. Alright, I buy it. Yeah, not really relevant. You don't need to understand. Just, he doesn't age, this thing will make him age. Let's go shoot it into him. That's really all you need to know. bit of a thrill seeker. If he survived last time, he'll be fine here. Having to kill this person who looks like a kid, even if they aren't one. If you're going to get stuck at a certain age, this is good for being inconspicuous, but you'd probably want to be a little older, a little bigger before you get frozen in time. Guess you can drive though. Some kind of hand thing. Otherwise, I don't think you could reach the pedals. It's gonna crash into a fucking gas pump. Bad luck, but good luck that he's immortal and shit. Alright, music for the showdown. Gotta be careful with that one bullet. Luckily, this kid's not as good of a shot. Look at this kid's face. He didn't think. He's like, what, a bullet? Fuck it. Doesn't matter. He didn't think it was going to be what it was. Oops. I was wrong. He's not pride, he's wrath. Well, sorry, Wen. Ew. Yeah, he's a little up there in the age department. Probably a pretty big burden living this whole time, and I think Spike does understand. I feel like after a lot of the shit he's gone through, maybe he's felt like going on has been a burden too. He seems to jump headfirst into dangerous situations. I don't know. Like, going after things that are serious and big time and dangerous. And doing shit like what he did in the last episode. Maybe enjoys putting his life on the line. Maybe kind of wouldn't mind dying. I don't know. But that is episode 6. There's usually nothing after the ED except for the preview. So that is the case again. Alright, on to the discussion. Alright, episode 6 of Cowboy Bebop. I knew that no matter what happened, it wasn't going to live up to episode 5. I figured we'd be back to just an episodic story. Another bounty that they go after, and then they don't get the money. And that is what happened. So I was like, okay, it's not going to be the masterpiece that episode 5 was. So I knew not to go in expecting that, and it was decent. There was a lot of intrigue at the beginning, which was good to follow up episode 5 to get me hooked into some kind of episodic story. Something that needed a lot of intrigue at the beginning, and I think I was more into it at the beginning when there were more questions raised rather than after they were actually answered. But for the most part, It was decent. It was obvious that Salim Bradley was the villain. You've got this kid with this man in a wheelchair who's supposedly his father, and this guy that Spike and Jet are after is after them, and you've also got this other bounty hunter who's named Fatty River. Okay, he really likes his sweets, and there's this gem, and you're like, okay, what's the deal with all this? Fatty River ends up not actually playing a role in the story, just giving Jet information. But yeah, there's a lot going on to keep you guessing as to all the details. But it was obvious that Salim was the bad guy, because they would want you to think, you got the other guy, Giraffe, who was Spike and Jet's bounty, saying, give him back, and then he's like, don't be fooled by his appearance, so they want you to think that he's talking about the man in the wheelchair. Don't be fooled by the fact that he's in a wheelchair. He kidnapped this kid, but it was incredibly obvious, no, it's the kid. The kid kidnapped him. And my first thought was that it was going to be some kind of natural, at least somewhat kind of realistic explanation for what this kid's deal was. Well, at first I thought he might just be a kid, might just be some fucked up evil little kid, but then I started to think, if he's older, it might be like some kind of disease, maybe some kind of fictionalized version of that actual real disease, that stops you from aging, makes you look younger than you are, and he's actually really old. Turns out it's a little bit more of a fantastical kind of explanation, because there was this hyperspace gate that exploded one time. Big ass explosion. I don't know how many people died from that. I'd like to know. It looked like a pretty big deal. But this kid seemed to be like the only one who survived. And I don't totally know how. And it seems like his parents covered him. But I don't know, that seemed like a big deal. It seemed like it'd probably go right through them into somebody else. Nobody else got covered by anything? Was nobody, inside a house? The house didn't protect them, but two people's bodies did? Was there nobody? They were in, a big-ass farm area. I don't know how many people were around. I don't know the scale of the explosion. So, I don't know. But I buy it. Whatever. It's fine. I have questions, but it's fine. It's mostly just world building about this thing that blew up. And ever since then, he just can't die. It just kind of rendered him immortal. And again, I can just buy it. It was a really cool sequence visually when you had that happening in the flashback, because I was like, what is happening? What is this thing that's exploding? It looked really cool. And it's not just that he, is immortal. He can't be killed. They go into an explanation about it, giving, a pseudo-scientific reason why he doesn't age. And it's like, okay, but also he regenerates, you shoot him in the head, he doesn't die. Whatever. I buy it. You can throw in some kind of weird, just cellular regeneration, whatnot. Just, it doesn't really matter. I can see people saying it's too out there, but I don't really care. I buy it well enough for what it is. And then they go into, like I said, a scientific explanation and explaining what exactly is happening in his body and how exactly it created this gem and why this gem is able to kill him or make him age. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. I buy it, sure. I looked it up, and apparently he's 62. Not as old as I would have thought. I thought he would have lived past average human lifespan, because he was saying that he was around before people really went into, or were living anywhere other than Earth. And I guess that hasn't really been all that long, just because of how much shit there is out there. Stuff like a hyperspace gate, I would have thought it'd take a little longer than that. Of course, that was already in existence by the time he was a kid. It's just that people, I guess, hadn't started migrating off of Earth quite yet. But yeah, it's not as old as I thought he was. Especially because by the end, how wrinkled and shriveled and decayed he got. But I guess that's just because of the aging hitting him all at once that did that to him. And then, regardless of whether he would die naturally from that aging, he had been shot in the head. So that would have done it. But I said I kind of liked when the intrigue was raised more than the answers we got, just because it was obvious what the main twist was, that he was going to be the villain. But also it felt like there was kind of more mystery being raised, at least to me, that kind of really wasn't the case, because they bring up a lot of stuff like these guys, Zebra and Giraffe, who were part of the volunteer self-defense squad, and they came upon this certain facility And they mentioned Giraffe being after the top spot was betrayed. He was left blindfolded somewhere. Zebra went missing. And of course we find out that I guess they raided the facility where Wen, the kid, was being experimented on. And Wen took Zebra. I guess he was a fucked up dude. He just, like, would kidnap guys, paralyze them completely. Apparently, like, he couldn't talk, couldn't do much at all, could cry. I think he had like a little smirk one time, and then act as if they're his father. He did this to several different guys. I think he said like 3. So he was a messed up kid. But yeah, you've got this build up about their past and their connection with Wen and everything. And my main questions, and the things that I really wanted more expansion of, and I think would have made it more satisfying, are about Wen. Like, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if I missed it, but like, what was his aim? What was his deal? He was a harmonica player. Is that it? Like, I don't really know what was going on with him. Also, how did he become this way? Not literally, how did he become unaging? We got that. How did he become this way as a person? How did he become an evil person? He was this normal kid. This horrible thing happened. It would have been cool to see the process of him becoming this merciless person who decides he needs to paralyze men and try to pretend they're his father and go about doing whatever. Maybe he wasn't that way until he was experimented on. I'm going to assume that is the case, but it would have been nice to have more concrete answers and a little more detail about him. I guess, they wanted to fit it into one episode, and they gave us what they could, and we're just kind of left to put some of the pieces together, and I assume that's the case. But still, like, what kind of life was he living before he was experimented on? Probably the experiments are what made him so cold and turned him against people. But actually, I don't know about that, because I think he said Zebra was like the 3rd guy that he's done this to. I think he said that. And Zebra was like the one of the ones who got him out of that facility. So that means he had already done that to other guys before being in that facility, right? Yes, I think so. So I don't know. I wanted more detail about him. Because when they were building the stuff up about them being part of the squad and raiding this facility, I was like, how is it related to Wen's motivations and his goals? And we never really found out much about him, honestly. And so that part kind of fell flat. I wanted to know more about Wen himself. Music is good, as always. Visuals are great. I love that shot of like the orange sky and the shadowed buildings and Wen sitting on the roof playing the harmonica, the visuals of the final showdown at the end. And I love the music again. In this episode, there are some good stretches where there's no dialogue and the music is just playing and the great visuals are just there for you to gawk at, and those are really nice. This is the kind of show where you can easily get away with people not talking for a long time and you don't even think about it. You don't need crazy stuff and dialogue happening all the time. You just get absorbed into the atmosphere of the thing. You also have Faye and Ein a little bit. I feel like this is the first time his name has actually been said. I don't remember hearing it before. Of course, I knew his name was Ein, but I don't remember them actually saying it. We see it on his food bowl, and then they say it later when Faye is being a bitch to the poor dog and eating his damn food. It's like, women are high class or whatever, and then she just eats the dog food, and it's no problem to her whatsoever. Maybe a hint to how she maybe was when she was younger. Maybe she was in a state where she had no choice but to eat stuff like that, and maybe she's used to it. I don't know. She's kind of just a bitch, so far. Being like, I'm going to spend all this money on whatever. I'm going to go shopping. Oh, this guy's got a great bounty. I'll get the guys to get the money for me. And it's like, okay. Can't say I like you as a person, but definitely curious to see more about her, learn more about her interact with the guys more and whatnot. And it's really that character design that really makes you start to forgive her, I guess. Anyway, the most interesting part of the ending was what's possibly going through Spike's head. You've got a lot of him seemingly not wanting to go after this kid, or having a little bit of a hard time. He knows he's not a kid, but just the fact that he looks like one makes it kind of hard for him. So I don't know if we'll get any more info about that, about any reasons why that is, or if it's just in general a part of who he is. He just has a hard time killing somebody who looks like a kid. But getting like the farewell from Faye, that was actually probably the nicest moment for her in the episode too, saying like she thinks he might not come back from this, probably because she knows he might hesitate against this kid. And then there was a good moment of back and forth, because he was like, oh, what, you're finally leaving us? And she's like, no, you aren't going to come back. But yeah, with Spike seeming like somebody who is maybe chasing death in a way, the way this kid kind of maybe was, because again, we can put some pieces together about what this kid was doing, but it might have been nice to get more concrete answers, because at the end he's kind of like, oh, I can finally die. Like, do you have any idea how this feels, what this is like? You can see that it was a burden being like that for so long, and that maybe this is kind of a release. And there are some similarities there, and we even get the fact that he was experimented on, and we have this opening scene, which was pretty creepy, of all like dead space shit with the eye being held open, and all these organs, and all these tubes and needles, and all this stuff, and it seemed like Spike being experimented on, and I don't know why. I don't know if that was part of when he was in the Syndicate. I don't know if people in there were modified in any way. I don't know if maybe that's why he's so good at martial arts and shooting. Maybe he's got some kind of alterations to his body. I'm not really sure, but you have that connection between them immediately. Spike wakes up from that dream and that memory, and immediately is staring at the kid, and we focus on him for a little bit, and we eventually find out he was experimented on too. But he's asking Spike like, oh, can you understand this at all? And Spike's like, no, like hell I can, but I don't believe that. Ever since the first episode, I kind of theorized on that, like, because they said Spike, he's like, oh, that bounty's not big enough, that's not high profile enough. It seemed like he wanted to go after more high profile, dangerous situations, stuff that would be kind of like thrill seeking. And after the events of last episode, I would say that definitely seems to be the case. He's going after things that put him in danger and could potentially kill him, because maybe on some level he wants to die. And so you've got that relatability with him and Wen at the end, which was really nice. And when even before that, when Jet was saying like, oh, it might explode, I don't know what's going to happen when you shoot this thing, he's like, sounds like fun. The gas pump exploded though. That was crazy. He just went right into a damn gas station. Huge explosion. I was like, god damn. I don't know why the kid didn't explode. Body's not made of fucking vibranium or something, I don't know. But it's anime. Explosions don't make people explode, it's fine. But yeah, that was a cool showdown at the end. The kid just didn't have very good aim. And then that Spike just taking that one shot. That was a good moment. But yeah, that's interesting about Spike. A lot that you can really kind of discern about him from his actions without people having really to say it all that much. You just see that he's been through a lot, and maybe he's just kind of seeking out things that could end it for him. I definitely want to see more, and I liked that. Maybe that was Wen's goal. Maybe he was doing what he was doing just in the hopes that eventually this would happen. Maybe it was more of a subconscious thing where he didn't really think about the fact that he wanted it to be over. Didn't really realize that until it was happening. He's like, oh, well, this is like a sense of relief. You know, that kind of thing is interesting for sure. But yeah, I think that's about all I have to say. It was a decent episode. It was fun. I definitely enjoyed some of the insight into Spike at the end, and even though the twist was obvious, the main twist, there was still some intrigue, which I don't feel like was fully capitalized on, and I want to know more. But it's some great visuals, some great music, and it was fun. There was enough to it to keep it mostly engaging. So yeah, and like I said, you know, if they wanted to fit this into one episode to relay everything they needed to relay and keep the pacing good enough. I realize not wanting to have a bunch of flashbacks or whatever, or exposition about more of Wen's life, or not just having the time to, but the fact still stands that I would like to know more information about him that might have been more satisfying. But I do think there was enough to where you can put most of the pieces together, at least kind of. Just I think might have been better if you could have had a little more info on him. So that's about all I got. If you have anything you want to say about the episode, we can talk about it more in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, it'd be helpful if you left a thumbs up and subscribed to the channel if you want to see more, and shared the video around is really helpful as well. And like I said, you can check out the Patreon if you want to see the next episode, because they come out a week early over there, in addition to having access to polls to vote on what shows I will watch. So thank you for all the support. It means a whole lot, and I will catch you guys in the next one.